Hello and welcome to Seen Through Glass. That is the Ferrari 360 Challenge Stradale belonging to Dan from the Luxurious Cars. It has always been my goal in life for as long as I can remember to own one of these cars, but today I'm going to have my first ever experience of driving one. I remember when I was about 14 and I was watching an episode of Fifth Gear, the UK car show. They had a presenter called Vicki Butler Henderson. She was blonde, stupidly hot and into cars. She was basically the dream. And in one episode she was flown out to Italy to drive the new Ferrari. And that was this car, the 360 Challenge Stradale. It was literally the ultimate video for a 14-year-old. Vicki Butler Henderson in a tight t-shirt, driving around in a stupidly loud red Ferrari. At that moment, right then, I knew I would have a lifelong love affair with this car. These days, supercar manufacturers are endlessly releasing limited edition cars that they tweak or make more lightweight or add performance to, and then claim are miles better. You get the Ferrari Speciale, you have the Aventador SV. However, the Challenge Stradale wasn't that. It wasn't the 360 with a bit more power. Instead, Ferrari took the 360 race car, the 360 Challenge, and made a road-going version. So it's kind of the opposite. Instead of making a racier road car, they made a roadier race car. And you have to remember, suspension, braking, engines, gearbox, steering, it was all different for the race car, as you can imagine, because it's a race car. And what Ferrari decided to do was go, hey, let's make this a road legal. And that is where the Challenge Stradale came from. I mean, it's not literally a road legal race car, but it carries over a huge number of the same elements. Which is why, in my mind, and it's probably factually true, it should be considered a completely different car. And there are so many times when on Instagram I post pictures of Challenge Stradales and people are like, oh, why do you like the 360? It's a piece of crap. You know, I kind of agree. I don't think I really like the standard 360. It looks dated and it's a bit sort of bubbly. But the Challenge Stradale is a very different car. It's like considering Kylie Jenner before her surgery and after her surgery. You only want to have sex with Kylie Jenner after the surgery. But yeah, she was about 14 before surgery, so it's a bit of an inaccurate analogy. But anyway, let's move on. Outrageously, as you can see, today, with huge thanks to Dan from the Luxurious Cars, I'm driving it. I'm actually driving it. What? If you haven't seen Dan before, here he is, the long-term owner of this car. How many years have you owned this car personally, Dan?
Well, my dad.
No, why did you ruin it? Come on! I thought you were like 35.
2003. Okay. And then he's like sold it, and then he's bought it back. So it's kind of like a. You could say he's had it since 2003.
Do you love it as much as I do? I don't think anyone loves it as much as I do. No. Well, it is outrageous and I am so freaking grateful for today. I honestly don't quite know how to handle this situation. We've obviously been out driving a bit so I could get used to the car before we started filming. There was also an instant where we turned off the car and couldn't exactly get it turned back on again. But moving on, now that I've had, 20 minutes or so to get used to the car, I'm starting to let it sink in to what kind of outrageous situation we're doing. I mean, this car has been my poster car for so many years. So many years. But you've grown up with it.
Yeah, I suppose.
In
I've
one way.
got used to it.
Yeah, you got used to it.
I've been with this car for more or less all my life. So.
Which is just mad. But do you still love the sound? Does the sound still get to you?
Yeah, I mean, most times we go to London, if we bring this, we go through like that Hatfield tunnel. It's just crazy.
Because the sound is
everything about this car is just
one of the biggest and most iconic things about this car, and something which I remember remember from seeing the first promo videos to seeing my first one on the road is how outrageous this car sounds. Completely stock. You've got Paul Wallace running around with his Army Tricks exhaust trying to ruin all of our lives, whilst this car came from factory sounding this good and this loud.
More or less, everyone is...
I can't hear you, Dan. I can't hear you.
I say I can't even hear myself.
Yeah. Is my GoPro still on the back? I doubt it.
I'll have to get that on the way back.
It is so freaking good, this car.
It's surprisingly grips to the road more than you think.
Yeah, much more than you think.
It's such an old car as well.
It's so old. Surprisingly, it's as old as Dad. Yes.
More or less.
More or less.
Give or take a year. Ever since that Vicki Butler Henderson video and the amount of research I did afterwards into this car and naked pictures of Vicki, I knew that owning this car was going to be one of my biggest, if not the biggest goal in my life. I decided then there, at that moment, whatever I did with my life, I had to get to a point where I could own a Ferrari and specifically a Challenge Stradale. So I was like, right, this is it. Challenge accepted. Oh, challenge. See what I did there? And what is crazy is that nowadays, these cars, right-hand drive examples, good right-hand drive examples, are going for around 250 to 300,000 pounds. And the thing with that is it now means that these cars are so expensive. And even though it's my dream car and a massive goal in my life to own one, you have to remember that they are over 10 years old, and a lot of them there's a lot of issues. For example, this gearbox is dated, and it feels amazing when you're driving like we are now, but around town, it's not great. And we've had our fair share of issues today. We pulled over to take some photos of the car, turned off the engine, thought, right, let's crack on and do some more driving, and then the battery died. And the 360's battery is dead. We can't restart it, so we're stranded in a Stradale. So yeah, it's not quite the dream life that you might think. I think that what I'm trying to say is, as much as I would love to go and buy a Challenge Stradale next year, it's unrealistic for a number of reasons, because I only want to own this car when I truly feel like I've achieved in life. Because forever, for so long, since I was like a 14-year-old kid, that has been my thing. Right, I'm going to succeed in life and I'm going to buy a Challenge Stradale. So if I get it next year, I'll be 27, and what have I done with my life? Not very much. I've worked, I've done some cool work, and I've started a YouTube channel. I don't feel like that is true success. So I feel like I'd be cheating myself. It just is insane, this car. Oh. The noise and the sensation of driving it is just, it's so light. Oh. It feels so quick, you know, because in this day and age it's not that quick. It's not actually that much quicker at 0 to 60 than my Jag, but it's just everything about it. It's so low and so wide, and then that soundtrack. Ah! It is truly everything I hoped it was going to be. I mean, it is exceeding expectations, but it's so good that I feel so at home with it. I feel like I've always meant to drive this car. There's only one car for me, and this is it. I just want to take it to the Alps. I want to take it on road trips. I want it now. All of my chat about I shouldn't buy this car until I'm really ready. Screw it. I want it. I want it so badly. It is insane. I mean, but it's just all about that noise. That is how a Ferrari should sound. Screw turbochargers. Bring back naturally aspirated, stupidly loud cars. still pick this car over so many others today, especially for the price point. If you're paying 250 grand, I mean, you're talking about Aventadors, you're talking about 675 LTs, F12s, but I pick this over everything. Over everything. It is the love of my life. It's so antisocial and I love it. Oh, Dan, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we have to say thanks to your dad. So if you've been wondering this whole time, why have we been following a GT3RS and just not talking about it? That is Dan's dad. And what I love is that he's like, yeah, cool, I'll just come for a drive with you. And I thought he was, I mean, anyone, this is a £250,000 car, but he's basically been the pace setter for today. So he's like, shall we go? And he just flies. I'm like, okay. It is outrageous, and it honestly adds to the excitement of driving this car, following another supercar around. And I'm so glad that he's encouraging me to drive fast by just buggering off at 300 miles an hour. Oh, he's a maniac. But yeah, mate, thank you so much. What a truly amazing day that was. It's a day that, if I'm honest, I'm struggling to get over. Every car that I've got in since has just not even begun to compare to the excitement, the thrill, the emotion that the Challenge Stradale gave me during that drive. Huge thanks to Dan and his dad for the opportunity. Make sure you go and check out Dan's channel, The Luxurious Cars. But yeah, it remains my goal in life to one day own a Challenge Stradale. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you have, and make sure you're subscribed for plenty more videos to come. Now, for the last week, I've been using this BMW M4. I thought, right, I can't just judge a car by its looks. It's what they say about girls as well, but let's face it, that's what we all do. It's made me go like, oh shit, this is quick. But it's never made me be like, ah ha 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 ha, ah ha ha ha.